Hi, we're going to be talking today about our lesson 13-1. So this is for 13-1, and we're going to be talking about length. Now, last week we talked about measurement of things in length, and today we're going to be reviewing those measurement of length, but now we're going to be converting it into conversions. And conversions basically are talking about changing one measurement into a different measurement. So for example, remember last week we talked about an inch. And an inch, I believe we did the same example where it was a paper clip. So a paper clip is about an inch. And 12 of these inches are the same, so we're going to convert it into feet, is basically saying 1 foot. So 12 inches equals 1 foot. Same as if we did feet or foot, 1 foot, with the abbreviation FT period. If we had a ruler, I think ruler was our example last time, you start on the one and it ends on a 12. So basically 12 inches is in a ruler. One ruler equals 1 foot. But if we had 3 of these, 3 feet, it would be called something called a yard. And now let's take a look at what the yard is. Remember last week we talked about yards as in a football yard. So if we take 1 yard, and the abbreviation for yard is YD period. So if we looked at 1 yard and we broke it into smaller measurements, we converted it into inches, we could say that in 1 yard there are 36 inches. So 1 yard is also the same as saying 3 feet. Because remember, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So if we divided 12 divided into 36 divided into 12, that would equal 3. So 1 yard is either 36 inches or 1 yard equals 3 feet. Kind of like up here we were talking about. And then the last part, and I apologize, I'm going to have to flip it over, would be when we're talking about miles. So with miles, the abbreviation is going to be MI period. And I think last week we talked about how the miles are kind of like when you're going from maybe your house to school, it's about a mile. If you live kind of close by, we can all kind of walk a mile. So 1 mile is the same as 1,760 yards. So think of like a football field is 100 yards. So we would need to divide 100 into 1,760. So 176, bring down the 0, 7. So about 17 football fields, if you walked it, would be equal a mile. So let's go through and look at some of these examples here. And our first one says 5 feet, and it wants to know with 5 feet how many inches that would be. So we know that in 1 foot there are 12 inches. So 12 inches equals 1 foot. But we need to know 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet. So we're going to kind of double these, kind of look at the pattern when we do it. So 5 feet is the same as saying how many inches. So 12 inches equals 1 foot. 24 inches equals 2 feet. So all I'm doing is doubling. 12 plus 12 equals 24. 24 plus 12 equals 36. So 36 inches equals 3 feet. And then 36 plus 12 equals 36 plus 12, 8. 48 inches. equals 4 feet. And then this last one, I am going to have to double check. I'm just going to add my 48. You can kind of see over here. 48, let's see, plus 12, 5, 6, so 60 inches equals 5 feet. So my answer then would be 60 inches is the same as saying 5 feet. Well, what if I had 45 inches and they want to know first how many yards, and then I'll probably have some left over. So I'm going to take my 45 and I'm going to think, here's my 45. So 45 inches is the same as saying how many yards and how many inches. So in 1 yard, I'm going to go back to my anchor. In 1 yard, there are 36 inches. Remember this note taking that we did? So first we're going to get rid of the 36 in the number 45. So we have 45, 1 yard, let's see, equals 36. 1 yard equals 36 inches. I'm just going to write that over on my notes. So I'm going to take my 45, I'm going to subtract 36 because I'm going to try to get rid of at least 1 yard. Bigger bottom, better borrow, cross out the 4, make it a 3, cross out the 5, now make it a 15. 15 minus 6 equals 9. So I have at least 1 yard, because this was my 36. This is my 1 yard, and then left over I have 9 inches. So in 45 inches, there's 1 yard and 9 inches. So on your lesson today, 13-1, sounds like we're going backwards, but we're working, remember, a little bit with 4th grade, a little bit with 5th grade. So I believe this one's the 5th grade one. So when you're doing it, these two are on there. So as long as you took notes during anchor chart, which you're supposed to, and as long as you start to use your Avid binder, hopefully you all took them home, try your best to put them in the math section, the anchor charts, because we will be repeating these anchor charts or repeating using them. Now, if you need a refresher, you can always go back to last week's, go into the folder from last week, go into the math videos, and you can watch it, of course. Always does not hurt to refresh yourself on what we've already learned. So go back into it and think about what inches, feet, yards, I believe, and miles were, and then think about how that's connected to converting them into other measurements. All right, goodbye, have fun, go now straight into the worksheet and work on that. Bye.